Mishnah, Maaser Sheni Perek Gimel Mishnah Yud Beis. I'm pretty sure that's what we're up to. Double check.
I'll check what Peretz posted. What do you say? I'll tell you the last thing he posted.
Mishnah Yud Beis.
That's where I'm up to.
That's what you got? Okay, so that must
That
be.
doesn't mean anything.
The last Mishnah he posted was Yud Aleph.
Just because I
good.
posted doesn't mean anything either.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was Friday. We're gonna go by what we can go by.
Yeah.
We're up to Yud Beis.
Yud Beis. Okay, good. Okay, so Hamashal Kankanin L'Maaser Sheni. So if you lend your Kankanin to Maaser Sheni, meaning you need to transport, let's say it's wine or olive oil or whatever it is. So you need to transport it. You need to transport your Maaser Sheni. So you don't want to make your bottles or your jugs or whatever it is into Maaser Sheni. So if you lent it to Maaser Sheni, now the thing is it's going to get absorbed with Maaser Sheni. So Afapi Shagafan, even though you close them up, Megufa, from the Megufa Zachametz means you sealed it. Loikana Maaser is not kind of it because you just lent it to Maaser. Zolaf l'soiche stam, but if you poured the wine into it, stam, meaning before it was Maaser Sheni, and then you made it into Maaser Sheni, meaning you have, let's say, 100 barrels of wine. So 10 of them are going to be Maaser Sheni. So you poured the wine in when it was Tevel. Then you decided 10 of those barrels are going to become Maaser Sheni. Right? So then it depends. Ad shaloi gofon, if you made it Maaser Sheni before you sealed it, Loi kana Maaser, so the Maaser is not koinet. Misha gofon, but once you sealed it, then kana Maaser, then Maaser is koinet. All right? Why? Because once it was sealed, then the wine is considered, and now you decided to go make it Maaser Sheni, then basically the bottle, the jug, the barrel is considered agav the wine. So Mamela, the Maaser Sheni, meaning once it's sealed, so you took a barrel and said, oh, this is a barrel of Maaser Sheni, including the barrel. If it wasn't sealed, right? If it wasn't sealed, then it wasn't yet. It was just the Maaser Sheni was being stored in the barrel. Right? So that means when he wants to be paid all that wine onto money, he's gonna have to be paid the wine and the barrel, the worth of the wine and the barrel. Okay, weiter. So ad shaloi gofon. So now this is talking about truma. So if you had truma and you have barrels of truma wine and it got lost in your regular wine, right? And your chulin wine. So you have no idea. Basically, you lost track of which barrels are the trumas and which barrels are the chulin. So if you lost it before you covered it, right, before you sealed it, then we know truma is not batal in shishim. Truma is batal in 100. So you need to have, as long as there's 100 more barrels than the barrel of truma that you lost, then it's fine. Umisha gafon. But once the barrels were sealed, then you're mekadesh. Then it becomes mekadesh b'kol. I mean, it's not batal. Right? Why? Because we know that there's no such thing as bittul by a dover chashuv. Right? And a barrel, a closed barrel of wine is considered a dover chashuv, and it's never batal. If it was an open barrel of wine, then it's not so chashuv. So then it would go with the standard bittul in 100. The next case is ba'ad shaloi gofan, before somebody seals his barrels. Then we need a little bit of akdama for this. When you want to give trumas and maasers for a bunch of barrels of wine, meaning you want to take, let's say you have 10 barrels of wine and you want to take 1 barrel. So now if all the wine is together in one room, so then that's the standard way to do it. But let's say some of the barrels are in one room, some are in barrels in maybe in one wine press, and some barrels are in another wine press. Right? So that's not lechatchila. you need to have it mukuf. It's called mukuf. It has to be surrounded. You want everything to be together. So before you seal the wines, then you could take from one barrel on all of them, meaning you don't have to put all the barrels next to each other. All right. But bishagafan, once you seal the barrel, then you cannot do what's called mukuf and take for one barrel on all 10 barrels. You have to take out trumas from each and every barrel, which is a big headache. Right? So those are three, basically, just to review, those are three cases where there's a nafkamina between whether your barrels were sealed or not sealed. The first case is Maaser Sheni. If you wanted to use those barrels, whether those barrels are going to have the chashivas of Maaser Sheni, so it would depend on whether it's sealed or not. The second one is truma that got lost. So if it's unsealed, it's bottle 1 in 100. If it's sealed, it's never bottle. And then the last one was if you want to take off trumas and maasers. So if the barrel's open, you don't have to make sure all the barrels are close to each other. If it's closed, then you have to take trumas from each and every one. This comes up with the hafrashas challah. Peretz that knows from this. When you're making multiple batches of challah, and you want to take off a hafrashas challah from one based on all the other ones, right? So that's essentially the same thing. Okay, let's do one more Mishnah. Mishnah Yud Gimel. Beis Shammai Oimrim. So Beis Shammai says, Mifateach u'ma'ara legas. You have to open all the barrels and put them back into the wine press. Meaning, now continuing what we just left off in the previous Mishnah. So you want to be able to take trumas and maasers from one barrel on other barrels. You don't want to have to take from each individual one, right? So now, if you want to take off the trumas and maasers, so you have to open it and pour it all back into the wine press. You can't just open the barrels. You have to go put it back into the wine press. Basil says, you could just open them. You don't have to pour it back in. Right? With the same thing with hafrashas challah or similar. Hafrashas challah, do you have to put, if you have different batches of challah, do you have to touch the dough to each other, or just putting them, open next to each other, is it enough? So Beis Shammai here says you have to put all the wine together. Basil says you don't have to. But that's only in a place where they sell closed barrels of wine. All right. So meaning this is going back to Maaser Sheni. It's a little cryptic. We're going back to Maaser Sheni. That when did we say that the barrels of Maaser Sheni wine are considered like Maaser Sheni? That's if they normally sell the barrels with the wine. But if they don't, but if it's the derech to sell barrels open, then the kankan does not go out to chulin. Right? Meaning normally we don't include the jug or the barrel with the wine. Right? So then when somebody spends his Maaser Sheni money on it, so that means he's buying this barrel with Maaser Sheni money. So therefore it got kedusha. Right? Fine. But let's say somebody wants to be machmer on himself. And he wants to open up the barrel and sell it by by the cup. Meaning, I don't know. It sounds like he's trying to get an exact measurement, or is he trying to make more money for the Maaser Sheni? L'chayr, if he sell a barrel, let's say it's $100, but if he opens the barrel and he sells it by the cup, he'll make $150 from Maaser Sheni, right? This thing belongs to Maaser Sheni. So maybe, I don't know. It sounds like it's just a measurement thing, not a money thing. Okay, but if he wants to be machmer on himself to sell it b'mida, yotza kan l'chulin, in that case, the jug does go out to chulin. Shimon Omer, af ha'omer lechaveroi, He says, even if somebody tells his friend, Yayin zeh, I don't know which girsa you have, there's a few girsas here. Yayin zeh ani moicha lecha chutz mikankana. If he says, I'm selling you this wine, excluding the container, Yotza kankan lechulin, then the kankan does go out to chulin because it didn't get the kedusha. Because the guy told him, I'm selling you the wine without the container. Okay, that's a siyum on a parak. L'chaim for those that have not yet made l'chaims tonight, or maybe,
L'chaim.
yeah, l'chaim. Okay, a little musar. We're up to Pei Gimel and Shar Gimel. All right. And that's what we're up to. Yeah. Shalosh shanim yeh lechem areilim lo yachel. He's talking about Orla here, right? That people are not makbar on Orla. So 3 years, you should be an areilim should eat it. Right. Ha'arla neheges b'chutz laaretz, but Arla is nayeg in chutz laaretz v'asura b'hana, and it's also b'hana. V'chol asher yasa b'hana, and anything that's also b'hana, also l'sita b'matana l'goy. You're not allowed to give it as a present to the guy. Alkein hutzrach hakasav lahatu losis nevela l'nachri. That's why the pasuk had to matter giving a nevela to a guy. L'idea ki muterasi b'hana, to let us know that it's mutter b'hana. Shenemar. Meaning that it's saying nevela specifically is mutter bahana, but arla is also bahana, so you're not allowed to sell it to a guy. Hanaisel lenachri arla, and somebody who gives a guy arla, ay chametz bepesach, ay basash and bashal b'chalav, or basa b'chalav, like he gets malchus, meaning because it's also bana v'chein. Mitin mem lefnei kalba shem zainois of a love. If you give it to a dog, right, that you have to feed, that's also asa bahana. It's mashra from him that you're allowed to give it to a guy that's not. Right.
To a dog that's not his, or to a guy that's not his?
I said kalba shem zainois. No, I think he means a legit dog, not a guy. Right. It's interesting because tonight's staff is going to have nochri, and we're going to say it's calling it a nochri, but it means a yid. But we'll see. Yeah. So the mitzvahs are arla, klai karam, bein ba'aretz, bein b'chutz la'aretz. The mitzvah of arla and klayim and the kerem is whether it's in aretz or chutz la'aretz, lisroi fa'itz on be'esh, you're supposed to burn it. All right. Let's say a guy has a tree of arla. A yid is not allowed to work a guy's land when it's arla trees. He's being nene because the guy is going to be machzik toiva to him. That's like a whole. I mean, this is halacha. I mean, it's halacha. The sharchu is not so much musar, but can a guy be an Uber driver if he's delivering basa b'chalav? Right? So that's a little different than here, because here he's benefiting directly from the arla. There, he's just delivering food. He has no idea what's in there. Right? It's also for Yisrael to give a guy to drink from the guy's own wine, bein b'schar, bein b'chinam, whether he does it for free or b'chinam. Right? Why should that be also?
Can he be
he's getting
a cook?
He's the waiter. What?
Can he be a cook in a Goyish nursing home cooking basa v'chalav?
Yeah, no, it sounds like that's not allowed. Pasha says that would be.
You brought up the Uber thing, so that's why I'm just bringing this in.
Yeah, no, it's right. So that's direct. There, you're cooking the basa b'chalav. Here, you're just delivering it. It's like a step. It's a step down, I think.
But he's having enough from it. He's having enough. He's
That's the
making a living.
shaila, right? Is he having hanof? Is that called having hanof from it?
Oh.
Right then, yeah. Anyway, so you're not allowed to be a waiter for a guy, even with the guy's own wine. The Karen Ravai, Aser, the 4th year is Aser, Bahana, Beloy Pidgin, without being paided. Ain't paided, I say, Achiva, Peiros of Linus on Maestros. And you're not allowed to be paida. That's how much we're learning the Mishnayos until it comes into the Aina of Maestros. Meaning it has to be ripe enough. You can't take it off before. Famous Aina on Maestros, and when is the proper time to take off Maestros? Mishnigmru Peirosayan. When the peiros become ripe. Kenyan Shoshana representatives of Chana Racha, Emasaya peiros chayav and Maaser when they are chayav in Maaser. Okay, we'll stop over there.